Thanks for tuning in. You're watching Notepad. I'm your host, Ibrahim Sani. We have an interesting interview for this evening. AME Consortium, AME Elite Consortium Berhad is actually going for listing on the 14th of October. Their plans is to raise over 100 million ringgit from this particular IPO. They have priced their share prices at 1 ringgit 30 cent. Joining me is the Executive Director of AME Elite Consortium, Simon Lee, and of course Cheryl Lim, the Marketing Director as well. Thank you guys for joining over. Let's start with the company itself, AME Elite Consortium. Maybe Simon, you can talk a little bit about the company. What is this company all about?
We started off in 1995 as a main builder, and as we move on, we also expand our business into M&E engineering services in 1996, and we also expanded our business to precast, IBS, and also steel engineering. And along the way, we also did a lot of boutique development to multinational company. And we find that to do a proper industrial building to our multinational company, we think it's best we can control the environment, because then we can provide the best infrastructure for our customer. And we choose to do our industrial park so that we can full control, provide the best infrastructure.
We will talk more about the industrial park very shortly. Let's learn a little bit more about the company itself. Cheryl, you've been with the company for some time. Let's talk about the history of the company. How did it come about?
As what Simon mentioned, we first started off as a main building contractor, but as we deal with a lot of multinational companies along the years, so we realized that we need to do our own sort of industrial developments in order to help all these foreign investors to sustain their business in Malaysia, in a way to help to bring in more investments into Malaysia. So that's what we do.
The fact that you guys have been doing okay for the past few years, what's the motivation of going for listing this time around? It's late in the year, investors have pretty much sorted out their investment portfolio. Why now?
Actually, talk about IPO is pretty much difficult for us to determine when we go for listing. We can plan for it, but it takes time for the SC to actually approve it. And why we actually go for IPO is actually we feel that our brand, iPark, brand industrial park, is well received in Johor and Singapore. We think we should bring this brand to the other state of Malaysia. And also, we think by having a listed platform, we can then tap to talent. We can then recruit best people to work for our company.
So basically you're saying because of Securities Commission, you are listing right now?
No, we planned for it for a couple of years, but we need to go through a process of approval. And,
but the SC will probably ask you, when is the desired time for listing? Why now?
Actually, we planned for between September and October. Right. And definitely we are not going towards the November and December, where that is the holiday season. So we think even September, October is fine for us.
The money that you want to raise, among those is 55 million to offer for sale from the shareholders. Is this the necessary amount for you guys to raise for the funding of the iPark development, or is there something else that can be done with this cash?
We actually raised 111 million,
yes,
and of which 62% is going to be used for future industrial land bank. So there will be 21% for working capital, which we're going to build a so-called club, iPark Prestige Club, and 8% will be used to expand our IBS business facility. And 9% is meant for listing fees. And
this interview is done before the budget. There's a lot of talks that construction will see an uplift in terms of the budget. We don't know what the budget's like anyway, because we've still yet to hear what the MOF or Ministry of Finance has to offer, particularly for the construction sector. Do you think that in anticipation of the budget, your industry will see a slight boost because the need for infrastructure build from this government? Do you think that construction will see a growth in 2020?
We hope to see some good news for construction sector and also the property sector. But by and large, our business are more towards the private side. where even we tender for, say, construction project, we are basically serving a multinational company and big company that need a big industrial factory. So, and the way we see also, because currently, as you are aware, there is a China-US trade war, and we actually benefit a lot from this trade war where some company actually move from China to Southeast Asia, and Malaysia is one of the beneficiaries. Yeah.
When you say move, what do they do here?
They actually, because now there is a tariff imposed, so some company in China, they actually export to US, and they have to move out from China. So that's why these people, they have to set up plant in Malaysia, Thailand, or even Philippines, Vietnam. And we actually received some inquiries, and some already confirmed to set up the factory in our park.
Okay, well, let's talk about your park very shortly. We'll go for a break. When we come back, we'll discuss about the SILC iPark in Senai Airport. Don't go anywhere. Thanks for staying on with us. You're watching my interview with AME Elite Consortium Berhad. They're going for listing on the 14th of October. Very bold decision to go for listing this time period. Perhaps there is something interesting underlying the company, which is based on the brief that you shared with me. The iPark at SILC, Senai Airport, also another park in Singapore. What is so great about this park?
What we so-called is a well-managed industrial park with integrated facilities that include is a clean and green environment. It includes recreation facilities, jogging tracks, resort-style facilities like tennis court, futsal court, and stuff like that. So the first iPark brand was actually evolved in 2011 December. So where we first started iPark SLC and iPark Indapura. So iPark Senai Airport City, which is actually the latest projects that we actually just developed.
All the iParks will say exactly what you just said, honestly. I've interviewed enough industrial park developers. They say, oh, it's integrated, we have tennis court, we have everything. Yeah. How's yours different from the rest?
We actually call our this iPark at Senai Airport City as industrial resort.
Industrial resort?
Yes, and we feel that the young generation now, most of the people want to work in, say, Google Office, Yahoo Office. And
Google Office lah with the bean bags, is that it?
So we want to cultivate and provide an environment so that all the occupants there, they can actually use and share the facility that we have. And we also help to, in return, to help the company to attract talents and young people.
But it's Senai. There's nothing there. I'm a Johorian. I live in Johor Bahru. Nothing is there except that airport.
Senai
and a few kelapa sawit plants lah.
The Senai Airport
City,
it's a new development area where it's actually linked up with a new accessway, connects between the North Highway, just 4 kilometers away, and moving forward is actually toll-free to Impian Emas and Skudai towards town area, and it's actually just 10 minutes drive to Senai Airport.
You know what people accuse me of? People accuse me of not being a visionary. They say that I look at things as it is, never in the future. Do you guys see something in Senai that I don't?
Senai, actually the location is about 5 minutes to North Highway, accessible to Singapore through Woodland, and also can access to Singapore through the second link. Actually, you can imagine from Senai Airport City, you go to Singapore through Woodland, actually there's no traffic light at all. From North Highway, you can then pass through the toll and then go straight to EDL and go to Singapore Woodland. So in fact, when we bring the MNC to our park, they are all very impressed with the location, the infrastructure, and nearby to airport. How it's not easy for a factory to have a location near to airport. In fact,
Nilai is near the airport, right?
I think in addition is because of our proximity to Singapore, whereby we are not only having Senai Airport, but we have access via the JB Causeway link to Singapore or second link to Tuas. So we are also enjoying the facilities from Singapore, having their port facilities as well as the Singapore International Changi Airport as well. So it's actually fast forwarding move around for this multinational companies that they now not only accessing through Singapore, going down south from JB to Singapore and up north to KL as well.
Right, we're contending with some other industrial areas within south of Johor. We're looking at Nusajaya, we're looking at Iskandar Development Region, we're looking at all these areas, and of course Senai comes into the picture. How do you fare in terms of competing with other development regions within nearby Senai? Do you guys, because proximity is there, one toll is there, no traffic light is, all the other regions are talking about the same thing as well. How are you slightly different in terms of getting more investment in the near term?
For our company, we actually provide integrated service. The speed is very important. So our strength is the speed. So when you talk about MNC come to Malaysia, they want to have a hassle-free. So they don't want to handle with, say, consultant to do your design, contractor, call tendering and select contractor. And we as a developer, we provide integrated service. So which means when manufacturers select our park, they can come in and then they say, okay, I want the factory 6 months, and we can deliver the factory 6 months to them, 2 months for CCC. And the other thing is that our park, we actually offer customization and also build to sell or build to lease. A lot of developers, they basically, they sell purely sell land, some they sell a standard factory. For MNC, when they want to come in, they want to save time to customize the factory, and some they prefer to lease.
We're looking at 72% of the total units launched, am I correct? For phase 1 and 2.
iPark Indapura?
Yes.
Yes.
And we're looking at the third phase of the iPark Senai Airport City to take place earlier next year, construction.
Yes.
And you're going to use these proceeds to build that.
No, actually the proceed for our IPO
the 111 million
is going for new land bank.
New land bank.
New land bank, yes.
So that's specifically for that, you were talking about some working capital, about 20-25%.
Yes.
Okay. So with this in mind, you've already spent about 135 million for the acquisition of a 77-acre land or 76-acre land to build the Senai Airport City area.
Yes.
Okay. Do you think that you're overextending yourself in terms of development, or you're well within your growth plan?
Actually, our gearing wise is still very low.
Yeah.
Yeah. Currently, it's at 0.3.
Wow.
So it's very healthy, and then we still see a lot of room for us.
Yeah.
And actually, for iPark Phase 3, Parcel 3, we actually use our part of internal fund and part of bank borrowing.
Yes.
And the proceed from the IPO is going to be for new land bank. And currently, our park for either Indapura or SSC, we actually, some we build to sell to generate cash flow. Some we actually lease for long-term recurring income. For example, every park we actually predetermine about 20% to build to lease for investment property, so we can have long-term recurring income. And we also have a dormitory. And dormitory, now our park, we always have a dormitory adjacent to the industrial park. And that dormitory also brings us a recurring income.
But it's 72% launched and sale, right? That there's still about 20+%.
It's a mixture of sales and lease.
Okay. Is that the amount that you were targeting, or that's below expectation?
In fact, we think the rate, the take-up rate is above our expectation. In fact, it's very fast.
Really?
Yeah, it's very fast. In fact, we actually target about 5 years to complete the.
Yeah.
And now within 2 to 3 years, we already achieved.
Move to phase 3.
Yeah, we are moving to phase 3.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll conclude our conversation with AME Elite Consortium. Don't go anywhere. Thanks for staying on with us. I am in conversation with AME Elite Consortium. They are going for listing on October 14th, just next week. 3 days, right, after the budget?
Yes.
Brilliant. Was that like a coincidental thing, or you really planned it? Okay, one is going to, do on the 11th, and we're going for the 14th. But there is something interesting of an element here, because it does consist, this particular IPO consists of 84 million new shares. Of that 84 million, about 8 million will be for the application of the Malaysian public. Do you expect there's going to be a lot of take-up from retail investors, per se? Or are you still going to rely on institutional investors mostly?
In fact, excuse me, we have 2% for the public. And so far, we already know the outcome. The take-up rate from public is very well received. And also, we have a lot of institutions. In fact, we have 3 cornerstones. which is Afin Huang, Tan Sri Choman Yu, and Spring. And we also have
Sprint.
Yeah, East Spring.
East Spring. Okay.
Yes, we also have a lot of other anchor institution take up. So to our surprise, it's very well received by institutional
from both retail and
Okay. So with new investors coming in and with the status of being listed, a lot of expectations are now on the company. You now have to, I guess, present yourself as a more publicly operated institution. Will there be changes in terms of internal structure, in terms of how you deal with your shareholders and your stakeholders? Do we expect things to change internally post listing?
I suppose in terms of the risk management and internal auditing, we have to strengthen and comply to all the requirements. And also in terms of the decision making, now we have a board that we need to go through. So it's something that different from last time when we are a private company. But I think we have to face this and to do as a listed company and everything comply to the board approval.
So we're looking
so process-wise will be a bit maybe slow down.
Okay, so if I can, I guess, paraphrase you, you're looking at improving for the better your internal processes and in managing your risk. But in terms of business direction, will it still be as aggressive as it is, or will you actually tone down and be a little bit more conservative in terms of how you invest your money?
I think what we are looking for is actually growth. That's why we want to expand for a couple of more new industrial parks. So we are looking for more growth. But in terms of implementing it, I think then we have to follow proper procedure of getting the board approval. That will take a bit of time. So,
but it's good, right? I mean,
it's good because and we think there is opportunity there by tapping to the capital market. So with good brand, then now we need more fund to actually expand aggressively.
Why 1 ringgit 30 cent?
Ringgit. You will ask me, we want to be higher because we think our value is it should be higher than this. But I think we always think it's best to leave some on the table for the market. Okay. And 130 is that we think is a fair price for the investor and also to the promoter.
Okay. Yeah. Around 10 o'clock on 14th of October, I call you, see how it goes. Huh? That was my conversation with AME Elite Consortium. That was, you just said Simon Lee, the Executive Director of AME. Of course, Cheryl Lim joins us as well. She is the Marketing Director. If you've missed any part of this interview, just head on to astro.com, look for Notepad. You can also download the application, Astro on the application, watch these interviews there. Also keep an eye on their listing. It happens on 9 a.m., on the 14th of October. Until next time, thanks very much for watching and goodbye.
Thank you.